All right. Hello, hello, everyone. Are you all able to hear me? You all, please let me know if you're able to hear me. Welcome, welcome to another episode of Andrea Speaks TV. I'm your host, Andrea, and I'm bringing you commentary you can use. So I want to say hello and welcome. If this is your first time tuning in, please comment in the chat. Let me know. I hope that you all are doing well on this, Monday night, early Tuesday morning. Thank you all so much for your patience. You all let me know. Are you able to hear me? Can you hear me? I hope that you have been doing well. I hope that you and your family have been doing well. It's a lot that has been going on, y'all. I don't know if you have been watching the news or just paying attention to what's happening, in your area, in the world around you. But there, it's just so much that's going on. Tonight, we're going to be talking about. I don't know. You all let me know. Have you been to the grocery store recently? Have you been to your local grocery store? And if so, are you noticing or have you noticed that the shelves are bare? You all let me know in the chat. Have you noticed that the shelves are bare in your local grocery store? So we're going to talk about it. You all know, right here on the channel, I recently went live, yesterday, and I was letting you all know, I was sharing with you all that in my area, it was snowing. So I went live, I was outside, and of course, it was snowing. And, in my area, as I have reported, in my area all across the United States, the East Coast, the West Coast, North, South, Midwest, I was reporting that there were a winter storm, winter weather advisory all across the United States. And so just this weekend, it made it to my particular area. I keep trying to straighten my hair. I literally just put my headband on without really combing it. So just trying to, make sure it's a little bit straight. But listen, we ain't worried about hair. Pay attention to the message, right? We're going to pay attention to the message. So, as I was saying, in my area, this past weekend is when the winter storm hit the area. Thankfully, my family and I, we were safe. We didn't experience any power outages. And, we're very thankful for that. So, you all let me know in the chat, how is the weather in your area? Let me know how the weather is in your area. Did you experience any snow, any black ice, any freezing rain in your area? Let me know exactly how things were. And so, I did get out. I went to the grocery store. Of course, you all know right here on the channel, I've been talking about, the need to be prepared in case of an emergency, power outage, food shortages, water shortages, things like that that are currently going on. And so I actually did get a chance to go out to the grocery store um, this past week, the week before, and I started to notice that the shelves were bare. I saw several signs that said, temporarily out of stock. Um, and, it just kind of, again, it has you wondering, like, okay, like what's really going on, right? And so I did some research, and in the news, I learned some new information about, what some are saying is the cause of food shortages, bare shelves that we're seeing in the grocery store. So, hello to everyone who's tuned in now live, or if you're watching by replay. Thank you so much for your support. Okay, all right. So, I'm going to share my screen with you Now, you all know, those of you all who have been following me, or if this is your first time tuning in, you all know I have been reporting on food shortages for several months now. I did a video probably over 8 months ago where I was talking about food shortages. I could be a little bit off on my timeline, but I know it's been a while. I have over 92 videos now on the channel. So if this is your first time tuning in, or if you say, you know what, Andrea, I like your content, let me check out some of your other videos, your other topics. Feel free to explore the many, many, many videos that I have now on the channel. So, in one of my older videos on food shortages, I was talking about the need to be prepared, and there are different ways to do that. I'm actually going to make a video where I talk about ways to get prepared, items that you need to have on your emergency checklist. And it's not just things that I'm telling you you should have. These are things that my family and I we actually have, and practices and measures that we have been practicing, that we have put into place to make sure in the event of any emergency that we are prepared. So I'll be sharing that. I'm going to put that together and make a video about that on the channel. Um, but I do want to come and give you all an update on where we currently stand as regards to food shortages here in the US, as well as talk about some new information. New information, it was new to me, it may be new to you. So I am going to share my screen with you, and we're going to talk about it. So I'm actually going to refer to some of the information in an older video. And at the end of this video, I'll actually go and I'll post the link to my video on food shortages. I'll post it in the chat. So right here on the screen, this was a picture. I actually got this from the internet, but it was around the time that the pandemic first began, which was what, March 2020, April 2020, I believe is the time frame of these photos. And in the caption I put, throughout the pandemic, there were empty shelves in stores across the world, unable to keep up with the demand for certain items. Some stores began to limit the number of items you could purchase per person. So even though this photo is referenced to the year 2020, March 2020 to be exact, when the pandemic first started, you all let me know in the chat, are you starting to see empty shelves like this again in your area? You all let me know in the chat. Are you seeing bare shelves in your area? In my area, I told you all I'm on the East Coast, the Southeast to be exact. Southeastern part of the United States. And a lot of the shelves that I have seen over the past week or two look exactly like what's seen in the picture, in the photo. So you all let me know. Are you seeing the same thing in your area? Why is that the case? You may ask yourself, why is that the case? So let me give you some updates. I'm going to be referring to two articles in this video. And the first article comes from Reuters. Almost a tongue twister. Okay, the first article comes from Reuters. And the title of the article says, U.S. grocery shortages deepen as the pandemic dries supplies. Okay, you all make sure you hit the thumbs up button, share this video, and if you have not already, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. Okay, all right. So again, the title of the article, this information comes from Reuters. Why is that so hard to say, y'all? Reuters. Okay, that's Reuters. It's another news resource or news source. And again, the title says U.S. grocery shortages deepen as pandemic dries supplies. Okay. All right. So let's talk about it, y'all. Now, according to the article, the article says high demand for groceries combined with soaring freight costs. Okay. So you all know in my many videos where I talked about the supply chain crisis and how it was becoming more and more expensive for the companies to ship the um, their products, their items through the ships, shipping containers, the shortages that were related to that. It's becoming more expensive, and in turn, the companies are passing on higher costs to you and I, the consumers, in the form of higher prices, things of that nature. And so, according to the article, it says high demand for groceries combined with soaring freight costs, and you all know what's going on right now with the pandemic. Um, we'll just call it pandemic related labor shortages. Okay, so they're still talking about labor shortages, are creating a new round of backlogs. Listen to this, y'all, at processed food and fresh produce companies, leading to empty supermarket shelves at major retailers across the United States. All right, what do you all think about that information? So, according to this article, again, they're saying that the high demand for, when you take the high demand for groceries combined with soaring freight costs, okay, it's costing them more to either ship it. Um, well, you know what, since we're talking about grocery stores, so freight costs. So, let's say that's the trucking industry, right? The trucking industry is costing them more to ship the products, okay? And also, when you add on labor shortages related to the pandemic, so we have three primary reasons right there that, according to this article, they're saying we're seeing bare shelves in stores. All right. So it's saying that it's causing a new round, it's creating a new round of backlogs at processed food and fresh produce companies, leading to empty supermarket shelves at major retailers across the United States. You all let me know how you feel about this information. Okay. Now, growers of perishable produce across the West Coast are paying, listen to this, y'all. Growers of perishable produce across the West Coast are paying nearly triple pre pandemic trucking rates to ship things like lettuce and berries before they spoil. Shay Myers, CEO of Hawaii Produce, which grows onions, watermelons, and asparagus along the border of Idaho and Oregon, said he has been holding off shipping onions to retail distributors until freight costs go down. Okay. Now, I was actually, when I had a chance to go to Walmart recently, and there was a gentleman who was on the aisle where, you know how they have like camping supplies? I call it like the survival needs aisle. But there was a gentleman who was on the aisle, and I was looking for a particular thing, and he, saw that I needed help. So he struck up a conversation about what product that he would recommend that he had used before. And it just so happened that the gentleman shared that he was a truck driver, and that is why he was using that particular thing. I was looking for a particular style flashlight. Of course, we have flashlights, but they make different ones. So he was making a recommendation on the one that he uses. And so when he mentioned that he was a truck driver, and of course, truck drivers, they would need a flashlight just in case, they are working in the dark, or, something like that. I asked him, I said, well, sir, and those who have followed me, those who are following me, those who have watched the videos here on the channel, you all know that we've covered what's been happening in the trucking industry. And so I asked the gentleman, I said, sir, you mentioned that you were a truck driver. Is there really a shortage of truck drivers, fuel delivery drivers, like they're saying in the news? And so he shared some information with me. And one of the things that he did mention is the growing cost of the truck itself. Um, I think he called it like Bobcat or something like that. That's like a nickname for it. But he did say that the trucks are costing more, and also the trailers are costing more. So apparently, he mentioned that because of Amazon, he said that Amazon was buying so many trailers and trucks that it was pretty much driving up the cost of those items in the trucking industry, and pretty much, making it more challenging for smaller companies to continue to operate And so he attributed the growing costs to Amazon. Have you all heard anything about that? Hello, everyone. Thank you all so much. Okay. Someone shared in the chat, I'm in California Bay Area, California. Our shelves are stocked and have fresh veggies. That's good. And thank God for our local farmers market here. You know what? That's great news. Thank you so much for sharing that. I've shared with you all, I shop at a farmer's market. I like to be able to get organic, whether it's organic meat, organic produce, fruits, vegetables, things like that. And so you all know I've shared with you, I've taken you on the journey with me several times when I've been to the farmers market. And for the most part, there are some things, because I shop there so consistently, I know when there's a difference, like, wait a minute, okay, normally they have a lot of this or a lot of that, but wait a minute, the shelves are bare, or I see a lot of out of stock signs, what's going on? And so, especially at a time like this, um, being able to shop local, supporting local farmers, that does come in handy. Now, the farmers market where I shop it's an international market, so they bring in foods from all over the world. And so, but I would agree that during the current times that we're living in, shopping at the farmers market, it is a blessing. Not only because you can pick out a variety of fresh food, but then also I feel like you can save so much more. You can save so much more money shopping at a farmers market versus going somewhere like a Publix or a place like that to buy groceries. Okay. So that is a blessing. I'm thankful that you and your family and everyone in your community, you all have the resources, the food, the things that you need. Okay. But even though it is the case in your area, a lot of places, even where I am, along the East Coast, the Southeast, a lot of grocery stores um, are, looking like what you see here in the picture with the bare shelves. Okay. All right. So let's see. Myers, according to the article, Myers said transportation disruptions in the last 3 weeks caused by a lack of truck drivers and recent highway blocking storms have led to a doubling of freight costs for fruit and vegetable producers on top of already elevated pandemic prices. Okay. Now, here's a quote. The quote says, "We typically will ship East Coast to West Coast. We used to do it for about $7,000. He said, today it's somewhere between 18,000 and 22,000. So almost 2 to 3 times more, y'all. Isn't that something? Now you can imagine how those extra costs can hurt the bottom line of the business, right? At the end of the day, it's about numbers. And to make up for those costs, what are they going to do? They're going to pass on extra costs, higher costs to you and I, the consumers. Are you all seeing higher prices in your area? Let me know. Are you all seeing higher prices in your area? Okay. Bird's Eye frozen vegetables. This is according to the article. Bird's Eye frozen vegetables maker Conagra Brands CEO Sean Connolly told investors last week that supplies from its U.S. plants could be constrained for at least the next month due to pandemic related absences. So here it is, y'all. They're saying that due to, and I've seen this on the news, they have been saying that many businesses, many companies, many organizations have experienced absences related to the current thing that's going on. People have been calling out sick, and because of that, they have been short staffed. They haven't been able to produce at their regular levels or service customers at regular level at service customers as usual. And because of that, they're saying let's see, because of that, they say um in this particular case, they say US plants could be constrained for at least the next month due to pandemic related absences. Okay. Now, earlier this week, according to the article, Albertsons CEO Vivek Sankaran said he expects the supermarket chain to confront more supply chain challenges. Okay, right here on the right here on the channel, we talked about the supply chain. He expects the supermarket chain to confront more supply chain challenges over the next 4 to 6 weeks. Okay, listen at this time frame, y'all. 4 to 6 weeks, as the thing that's going on now, the thing that's going on now, has put a dent in its efforts to plug supply chain gaps. Okay, thank you all so much. Those of you who are watching now live, or if you're watching by replay. Okay. Now, the article also continues by saying that shoppers on social media complained of empty pasta and meat aisles at some Walmart stores. Okay, now at the local Walmart where I am, on the pasta aisle where there's normally, you can get spaghetti, you can get the different types of pastas. I should have taken pictures, y'all. Next time I go out, I'll take pictures so that I can share with you and let you see. You can see what I see in my area. But I did see that on the pasta aisle where you can get spaghetti, what the macaroni shells, what else? Y'all know the different style pastas that you can get. It was pretty bare, so I do agree with that. Um, the meat aisle was pretty slim as well. Hello, hello. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate your support, and thank you so much for staying up and tuning in to another episode of Andrea Speaks TV. Right now, we are talking about the fact that more food shortages are coming, as well as empty store shelves. So, right now, I'm reading an article from Reuters. Reuters. I don't know why it's so hard for me to say, y'all. Reuters. Reuters is a news site. It's spelled Reuters. And the title of the article says U.S. grocery shortages deepen as pandemic drives supplies. Okay. So, according to the article, let's go back, y'all. According to the article, three primary reasons are causing the empty store shelves that we're seeing. So, the first one was a high demand for groceries combined with soaring freight costs. Okay. It's costing the companies more to ship the items via, semi truck, whatever way they ship the items, by sea, by air. The freight costs are increasing, and then due to pandemic labor shortages, okay, are creating what the article calls a new round of backlogs at processed food and fresh produce companies, leading to empty supermarket shelves at major retailers across the United States. Okay, all right. Someone shared, I'm in Los Angeles and it's a hit and miss, a lot of shortages wherever I go. Okay, so I'm seeing that as well in my area. And I think the next time that I go out, I'm going to take some pictures, or I may go live and show you all exactly what I'm seeing in my area. The article did mention that shoppers on social media complained of empty pasta and meat aisles, and I shared with you all that I'm seeing the same thing in my area. I did pick up, I think about like some spaghetti, the spaghetti noodles in the pack, and we usually get like the whole wheat kind, and I think I got like the last pack that was available, but for some reason, a lot of people were buying noodles and pasta, and so it was very slim on that aisle. Okay. Someone shared, I have a friend who works for Vaughn's grocery store, and they told me one of the truckers delivery warned them to stock up and prepare because it's going to get ugly very soon. Yes, and even though it's late where I am on the East Coast, it's 12:43 a.m. here. I felt like it was very, very important, by this being a new week, and especially because in my area in the Southeast, we just experienced the winter storm, which they are saying, and I'm going to talk about this in another video. They're saying that there's another round of winter storms coming this week, even going as far to calling it an Arctic blast. So there's more coming, more severe weather, more winter weather advisories coming. And I do agree, I feel like, I can't tell people what to do, but I do feel like it has gotten to a point where, people need to, If you have not already done it by now, you definitely need to be stocking up on food, whether it's canned food from the store, whether you're canning your own food, you have a home garden. Those are things that we're doing. We have a garden. Right now in our garden, with it being so cold, we did have tomatoes, but of course, tomatoes, in cold weather just don't always agree. And so I do have kale. My carrots are out there, and what else? Lettuce, collards, cold weather vegetables. So those are some of the things that we have. And of course, in a few months, well, actually, there's some things that you can start planting now, but I do have several seeds, and so I will be starting to plant for the spring very soon. Okay, but I definitely feel like if you have not, let me say this, y'all. If you um, if you haven't looked around and noticed, okay, wait a minute, it's a lot of things going on. A lot of things that are not usual, a lot of things that are not normal, whether it's when you think about the weather, the fact that the store shelves are bare, in some places completely empty. If you haven't looked at all of that and said, "Wait a minute, this is not normal. Something must be wrong here." And there may be some people for whatever reason, they have no idea what's going on. Um, they're just living day to day, and they don't realize the things that are happening right now. They don't see the way that the world is changing. Um, and I just don't know what to say because I don't know. Maybe some people don't go to the grocery store. Some people may have their groceries delivered. Um, and it could be that in their home they're not the grocery shopper, so they don't have the need to go. But it seemed like somebody, if it's not you, it seemed like there's someone. I'm not talking to anyone in particular. I'm just making a point that if you have not realized by now, or if someone around you has not told you by now that, hey, wait a minute, you haven't heard this is going on, or you haven't seen that the stores are empty. Why are the store? If you're not, in other words, if you're not questioning what, why some of the things that are happening, that's a major concern. If you're not questioning and paying attention to, if you have not even noticed or acknowledged the things that are happening now, um, you know, it's concerning. And, I would even say that it's almost to the point where if you don't know what's going on, if you're not aware of what's going on and you're not getting prepared, you could be setting yourself up for trouble because, like someone just shared, um, they shared in the chat that someone, a delivery driver, warned them to stock up and prepare because it's going to get ugly very soon. Obviously, this person has the truck driver who gave the warning has some knowledge about what's going on. And as I shared in the chat, as I shared from the article, these CEOs of companies such as Bird's Eye Frozen Vegetables, when the CEOs, when they have their calls, they're talking to investors and they're letting the investors know what's going on as well. Investors, they have an interest, they have a vested interest in the company. And so these are things to all be concerned about. So, I would encourage you, if you have a family member, someone who's in doubt, family member, friend, loved one, someone that you care about, and they're in doubt or denial about the things that are going on, share this video with them. Share this video. There are several articles out there. Even if you just research food shortages, water shortages, empty shelves, look at the impact that all of these things are having, not only on us as consumers, but it's affecting our pockets. Have you noticed now? Tell me, is it just me? But when you go to the grocery store, or when I go to the grocery store now to shop, it's almost frustrating because you're paying so much more. Now, remember I said I mostly shop at the farmers market. I feel like you know, we do save more money there. We can get more for our money at the farmers market versus going somewhere like Publix. I still shop at Publix from time to time. Nothing against Publix, but of course we want to save money everywhere we can. But it's almost like frustrating to know that okay, this same carton of, let's say for example, strawberries that I used to pay I don't know, $3.99, $4.99 for. Now all of a sudden they're $6.99. They're $2 more. And you may say, Andrea, I know you're not tripping. Now you may say, okay, Andrea, I know you're not tripping about $2, but when you have multiple items that have increased by $2, you're paying $2 more for that item. That $2 adds up, and before you know it, you're paying what, an extra $50 more in groceries, and that even adds up over time. Okay, someone also shared in the chat the mandates being imposed on truckers crossing back and forth from the Canadian border is going to have a major negative impact on supplies. It's going to be a hot mess. Thank you. I haven't found any. I haven't heard about that yet. The mandates. You know what? I did. I did. I saw that today, as a matter of fact, where truck drivers were having mandates, and I said, well, you all know I have shared on the channel my thoughts on that. I feel like it should be up to the person whether they get individual choice whether they get the thing or not. I don't think it should be mandated, so to speak. But to have truck drivers, the people who are sacrificing time away from their families to transport um, goods, items, from one destination to the next, and especially with the times that we're living in now, you're going to me, that's basically like they're disrupting the trucking industry. And I'm just thinking in my mind, if they're really trying to make the situation better to alleviate so much of the backlog, why would they go and make it why would they go and create a mandate to get the thing um and cause that negative impact, so to say, on the truck driving industry. So the mandate being, if someone shared, the mandate being imposed on truckers crossing back and forth from the Canadian border is going to have a major negative impact on supplies. It's going to be a hot mess. Okay. Also, besides peanuts, someone shared, besides peanuts and peaches, what other crops are grown in Georgia? The Chinese are buying a lot of farmland, food manufacturing plants. They're shipping all of that back to China. I am going to be doing my research on that. Um, I have heard that the Chinese are buying lots of farmland, food manufacturing plants, other items that are grown in Georgia. We have, let's see, uh, besides peanuts and peaches, what other crops are grown in Georgia? I believe I know cotton. What else is grown in Georgia? Uh, Watermelons, different food items. They're all shipping. They're shipping all of that back to China. Okay. All right. And then it says, someone shared, it's not just you. Prices are ridiculous and shrinkflation is real. So, it's just a lot going on. Um, a lot of things are going on. Okay. All right. Let me continue reading from the article. Thank you all so much for your feedback, sharing your thoughts in the chat. I really appreciate, and I like to engage with my supporters. If you have some information, that you feel like contributes to the topic at hand, please by all means share it. And I appreciate your support. Okay, let's continue with the article, y'all. Again, we're talking about the fact that when we go to the grocery store, or when I have gone to the grocery store, I'm seeing empty shelves, and you know there are workers there. I'm seeing the workers in the store, and even on occasion, I see the pallets that are there. Towards the end of towards store closing. A lot of times they begin to bring the pallets out so that they can unload them and restock the shelves. But I don't know. It seems like I'll go there one day, and then 2 days later, when I go again, it looks the same, or it looks even barer. So it's just crazy. Okay. We're talking about Alaska Prepper talking about the land shot. Okay. All right. Okay. I'll definitely check out that video. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. Okay. So let me go back to what the article says the shoppers on social media were saying. Shoppers on social media complained of empty pasta in meat aisles at some Walmart stores. A Meijer store in Indianapolis was swept bare of chicken. A Publix in Palm Beach, Florida was out of bath tissue and home hygiene products, while Costco reinstated purchase limits on toilet paper at some stores in Washington state. Okay. Those are some things that we talked about as well. You all know right here on the channel. One of my more popular videos, I went live in Sam's Club and I showed you all how they had instituted the purchase limits as well. Okay. Now, according to the article, it says the situation is not expected to abate for at least a few more weeks. Katie Dennis, Vice President of Communications and Research at the Consumer Brands Association, said, blaming the shortages on a scarcity of labor. Okay. Now, the consumer packaged goods industry, it says, is missing around 120,000 workers, y'all, out of which only 1,500 jobs were added last month, she said. While the National Grocers Association said that many of its grocery store members were operating with less than 50% of their workforce capacity. Okay. And again, I share with you all that due to factors such as labor shortages, and also it could be mandates as well. It could be that people are saying, you know what, we're not going to comply with the mandates, so we're not going to show up to work. Those could all very well be reasons why we are seeing bare shelves and food shortages. Okay. All right. The consumer packaged goods industry is missing around 100. Oh, I just read that. Okay. It's late, y'all. Y'all bear with me. Let me keep going. Okay. Now, U.S. retailers are now facing roughly 12% out of stock levels. Let me start it again, y'all. Okay. U.S. retailers are now facing roughly 12% out of stock levels on food, beverages, household cleaning, and personal hygiene products compared to 7 to 10% in regular times. Okay. We see that's an increase. Now it says the problem is more acute with food products where out of stock levels are running at 15%. The Consumer Brands Association said. Excuse me, y'all. I had to do a quick yawn. Okay. All right. If you are enjoying this episode, please make sure that you like the video, share this video, and if you have not already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Okay. Let's see. Okay. All right. Spartan Nash, a U.S. grocery distributor, this is according to the article, last week said it has become harder to get supplies from food manufacturers, especially processed items like cereal and soup. Consumers have continued to stock up on groceries as they hunker down at home to curb the spread of the thing. Dennis said demand over the last 5 months has been as high or higher than it had been in March 2020 at the beginning of the pandemic. Okay, similar issues are being seen in other parts of the world. Now, in Australia, let's talk about what's happening across, in different parts of the world. In Australia, the article says grocery chain operator Woolworth Group said last week that more than 20% of employees at its distribution centers are off work because of the pandemic. In the stores, or I'm sorry, they're off work because of having being sick from the thing. Okay, you all know what I'm talking about. In the stores, the virus, it says, has put at least 10% of staff out of action. Again, that's contributing to their short staff. Labor shortage, they're short staff. The company on Thursday reinstated a limit of 2 packs per customer across toilet paper and painkillers nationwide, both in store and online, to deal with the staffing issues. Okay. Okay, someone in the chat. Okay, I'll definitely let you know. I do want to get through this episode. I have one other article to share, and then I'll call it a night. Okay. Hopefully I can come back on tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then what, Thursday? But thank you all so much for your concern and your patience. Let me know, do I look sleepy? I know I yawned earlier. It's almost 1 a.m. here, but I do have some. I feel like this information was very important. Like I said, this is going into a new week, and I want to let you all know what's going on. Okay, but do I look sleepy? Let me know. Okay. All right. So let's keep going, y'all. Now, we talked about this, right? In the U.S., I'm sorry. In the U.S., recent snow and ice storms that snarred traffic for hours along the East Coast in my area also hampered food deliveries bound for grocery stores and distribution hubs. Okay, not in my area, but in my area of the United States. Okay, now those delays, it says, rippled across the country, delaying shipment on fruits and vegetables with a limited shelf life. Okay, so in other words, y'all, if they didn't get to the stores in time enough, what happens to it? It spoils, right? So we got to think about that as well. Now, the article does say while growers with perishable produce are forced to pay inflated shipping rates to attract limited trucking supplies, producers like Myers are choosing to wait for backlogs to ease. Okay, the canned goods, the article says, okay, the canned goods, the sodas, the chips, those things sat because they weren't willing to pay double or triple the freight, and their stuff doesn't go bad in 4 days. Okay. So again, that was an article from Reuters, Reuters, and the title of that article is U.S. Grocery Shortages Deepen as Pandemic Dries Supplies. Okay. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Okay. All right. So I have another article I want to get through. Let me change the slides, y'all. Let me see what I have on the next slide. Let's not forget what happened in Texas. So this was back almost coming up next month. It'll be coming up on a year. But let me know in the chat. Do you all remember? This was what, February? I think it happened in January. It may have happened January 2021. I'm not exactly sure of the date, but this around this time last year, we'll say, Texas. Remember when Texas was hit with what this article describes as a devastating winter storm. And for some, it said recovery could take months. You all remember that happening in Texas? You all let me know in the chat. Do you all remember when Texas went through this severe winter storm? It's like it came out of nowhere and people were so shocked, like something like this could happen in Texas where it's normally warm. Do you all remember that? I actually reported on that, on what happened in Texas. I'll again after the video, or maybe sometime tomorrow, I'll post the link in the chat. But I talked about how natural disasters had an impact on the food and water supply. So I wanted to include this slide. This is from a previous video that I did several months back. But climate change, you all notice how with a lot of things that are happening, natural disasters, we always hear of climate change. Have you all noticed that? I've talked about that several times, but it seemed like they're attributing a lot of what's happening. They're saying, oh, well, climate change, everything is climate change. And then there's this big agenda to address climate change. Have you all noticed that? Right. Someone shared, I remember hearing about the big freeze in Texas, Oklahoma, and Louisiana. Yeah, definitely. Climate change, according to this article, said it could trigger a global food crisis. That's according to a UN report. Okay. And then in the caption, it says if average global temperatures rise by 2 degrees Celsius, the risk of food supply instabilities, and I quote, are projected to be very high, according to the report. Now, I will say this, y'all, in talking, another thing I want to mention about the weather. Right now, where I am in the southeast is cold, right? It's like very cold. Um, but prior to this week and last week, we were having warmer weather uh, for this time of year than what we're used to seeing. So that's very unusual. I know in other parts of the United States, a lot of unusual weather patterns. And a lot of people are saying that it's because of climate change. So as yeah, someone shared in the chat, it's more than just climate change. What do you feel it is? Do you feel that some kind of way, some people have said this, that they're in some way manipulating the weather? Oh, I also have my coffee, y'all, that I'm drinking to, help keep me up and get me through the video. What do you feel like, why do we keep hearing about climate change? Um, why do you think that there is such a push now to do something about the climate? Now, just thinking about the natural order of things, right? Does it seem like this is something, thinking about climate change, shouldn't it correct itself? I'm just thinking about the natural cycle, right? The natural cycle of just the way things are. Wouldn't it be able to take care of itself, or wouldn't it be able to correct itself? I'm just, these are questions that I'm asking. I'm definitely not an expert on climate change, but when you just think about what I call the natural order of the way of life, maybe so to speak, um, wouldn't it be something that would be able to correct itself without human intervention? I'm just asking, if anyone has any insight on that or thoughts on that, please share in the chat. But is that something that we should really be doing something about? Um, I have questions on that. Okay. Let me see what I have on the next slide. We'll talk about that soon. I want to go back to the slide that had the empty shelves. Okay. All right. So here is some information from CNN. CNN shared that here's why grocery stores are struggling to stock their empty shelves. Okay. Someone shared there were fires at food manufacturing plants throughout the world. The explosion at the port in Beirut, Lebanon, that destroyed their grain silo. Was that something that recently happened? I need to look that up as well. Is that something that recently happened in Lebanon? Okay. So here's an article that I would like to read from CNN. This is my last article of the night. And the title of the article says, "Here's why grocery stores are struggling to stock their empty shelves." Okay. All right. This is from CNN Business. And according to the article, grocery store shelves across America are wiped clean, and they're staying empty as stores struggle to quickly restock everyday necessities such as milk, bread, meat, canned soups, and cleaning products. Okay. Now, disgruntled shoppers have unleashed their frustrations on social media over the last several days, posting photos on Twitter of bare shelves at Trader Joe's locations, Giant Foods, and public stores, among many others. Now, according to the article, it says after contending with 2 years of pandemic and supply chain related problems, grocery stores still aren't getting the break they hoped for. Rather, the article says they are now confronting a host of other setbacks. Okay. Now, I'm just going to continue reading. It says, as the highly contagious thing of the virus continues to sicken workers, is creating staffing shortages for critical functions like transportation and logistics, which in turn are affecting delivery of products and restocking of store shelves across the country. Okay, do you all agree or disagree with what the article is saying? Okay, I can say that in my area, again, I have seen bare shelves. Um, I would imagine that with everything going on, they would have people who are calling out of work, not able to go into work. And so they're saying that, that's affecting the delivery of products as well as the restocking of store shelves across the country. Okay. Albertsons, we talked about Albertsons in the previous article, how they acknowledge that products are in tight supply during the company's earnings call with analysts Tuesday. Here's a quote. He said, this is the Albertson CEO. He said, I think as a business, we've all learned to manage it. We've all learned to make sure that the stores are still very presentable, given the given the consumers as much choice as we can get. Now, let me say this about stores being presentable. And you all let me know, have you noticed in your area, and I don't know, it could be because of staffing shortages, but it seems like, a lot of times, not saying that the workers did it, but you got to think about it. If it's a large store, like I'll say, for example, like Walmart, you may pick up something from one part of the store and you say, you know what, I don't want to get it, but I don't feel like walking back to that part of the store. I'm just going to leave it here and somebody will get it and put it in this place. But one thing that I'm noticing, and what made me think of this is when I just talked about how the Albertson CEO say they want to make the store very presentable. When I think about, I'll just say Walmart because that was the last store that I've been in. It looks like things are just scattered everywhere. It's a mess. It doesn't really seem organized at all. I don't know the reason behind it. Like I said, it could be because of customers saying, "Hey, you know what? I'm just gonna put this back here." I don't know what's going on, but it doesn't. On top of everything, on top of the bare shelves, on top of the staff shortages they may be experiencing in some parts of the store, it doesn't really look presentable. Things look the things that are there, for the shelves that are not bare, it seems like things are just scattered. um in some cases you can see where it looks like someone opened some of the items and either stole them or ate some. It something needs to be done about it. And so, with everything that's going on, that's just the extra thing that the companies and even the customers have to deal with and experience. So obviously that's something that's very important to still, with everything going on, you want to make sure that the customers um, can still shop in a clean, presentable store environment. Okay. Let's see. Even so, he added, he being the CEO of Albertsons, he added that the thing that's going on now has put, and I quote, a bit of a dent on efforts to improve supply chain gaps. We would expect more supply challenges over the next 4 to 6 weeks. Okay. Now, grocery stores, it says, the article says, are operating with less than their normal workforces, according to the National Grocers Association, and many of its members have less than 50% of their normal workforce. Okay. While there's plenty of food, this is a quote by the group's president and CEO. While there's plenty of food in the supply chain now, according to this person, they're saying that, hey, it's not a shortage. We actually have plenty of food. So listen to this, y'all. This is another perspective. This person says, while there's plenty of food in the supply chain, we anticipate consumers will continue to experience sporadic disruptions in certain product categories, as we have seen over the past year and a half, due to the continued supply and labor challenges. Okay. In fact, the article says labor shortages continue to pressure all areas of the food industry. That's according to Phil Limpert, an industry analyst and editor of supermarketguru.com. Okay. Someone in the chat shared, I noticed that they're spreading things out in hopes of concealing how empty the store is, right? And of course, staff shortages affect the cleanliness and organization of the store. Absolutely. I agree 100%. Okay. Now, from farms to food makers, the article says, to grocery stores, it's across the board, said Limpert. During the pandemic, these operations have had to implement social distancing protocols, and they're not really built for that, and it has impacted production. Okay. Now, speaking of social distancing, is that still a thing now in 2022? People having to social distance. I haven't really heard that term being used. I haven't seen any procedures in place. Are we still social distancing in 2022? You all let me know about that. Um, Again, I thought about it because the article just mentioned how they had to put in social distancing protocols. Okay. All right. I'm gonna get through the article, y'all. Okay. Thank you all so much. Make sure those of you all who are watching now live, or if you're watching by replay, Make sure you share this video with some people you love and care about. Let them know what's going on. If you feel like the information is helpful, like the video, and then also subscribe so you can stay connected and informed when I do upload new content every single week. Okay. Now, the article does say as the pandemic continues, many food industry workers are opting not to return to their low wage jobs at all. So some people are saying, you know what? This job isn't paying me any money. I can make more money doing this. Or maybe they want to step out into entrepreneurship and they're not coming back at all. Okay. Transportation problems. Let's talk about transportation problems. The article says an ongoing shortage of truckers continues to slow down the supply chain and the ability of grocery stores to replenish their shelves very quickly. Okay. Empty shelves at Trader Joe's on Spring Street in New York City on Saturday. Oh, this was a picture. I'm sorry I don't have the picture available to share. The article says the trucking industry has an aging workforce on top of shortage. Limpert said it's really been a problem for the last several years. Okay. The article also says layered atop widespread domestic transportation issues is the ongoing record high level of congestion at the nation's port. Okay, we've talked about port congestion on the channel as well. Both of these challenges are working in tandem to create shortages. Okay. The next topic, contributing to empty shelves, weather issues, which we've certainly talked about here on the channel. At Trader Joe's stores, the article says shoppers over the weekend saw messages attached to empty shelves blaming weather emergencies for delivery delays. Okay, much of the Midwest and Northeast has recently been grappling with severe weather and hazardous commuting conditions. Not only are people stocking up on more groceries, that level of high demand coupled with transportation challenges is making it more difficult to transport goods in inclement weather, thus resulting in more shortages. Okay. Someone says depends on where you go. Sometimes it's enforced, other times it's not. And a lot of those jobs don't offer sick leave, vacation time, or medical benefits. That's true. Okay. Especially in some cases, like if you're working part time. Okay. You may not be entitled to as many benefits. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for your contribution. Okay. Not to mention climate change. Okay. The article also refers to climate change, which we just talked about, which is an ongoing serious, the article says, which is an ongoing serious and long term threat to food supply. Fires are, this is a quote, it says, fires and droughts are damaging crops such as wheat, corn, and soybean in the US and coffee crops in Brazil. And he said that we can't ignore it. All right. The article says pandemic changed our eating habits. More and more of us have taken to cooking and eating at home through the pandemic. That's contributing to the grocery supply crunch too. Okay. I do cook. I enjoy cooking. I cook at home. You all let me know. Do you all cook as well? Now the article concludes by saying grocery stores certainly are aware of the empty shelves. Lippert said, and they are trying to mitigate panic buying, which only worsens in the situation. Now let me ask you all a question. With everything going on, can you really say that that panic buying is a thing? Is it panic buying, or is it just being smart and saying, hey, I see what's going on. Let me get what I can get so that my family, my loved ones, we can survive and sustain the times that we're living in. So, they're calling it panic buying. And in certain cases, it's panic buying. But in this particular case, okay, with everything that's going on, is it really panic buying? Or is it just being smart and saying, hey, I peep game, I see what's going on. Let me get it while it's available. Okay. One strategy the article says is called fanning out products. Okay, it says they're doing this by putting out both limited varieties and limited quantities of each product in an attempt to prevent hoarding. Okay, we talked about this, right? To prevent hoarding and stretch out their supplies between deliveries. So I'm noticing, even in the farmers market where I go, I notice, okay, like it could be a whole table, and I've showed this here on the channel. It could be a whole table that would normally be full of fruit, but it may have half of what it normally has. And according to the article, it may not be that, they may have the supply, but they may not, of course, put it all out at one time because they want to, they don't want people hoarding or maybe they want to stretch it out and put a little out this day. That way they have some every day. It's kind of like a first come, first serve basis. Um, at least they can have some every day versus putting it out one day and it all be gone in a day. Okay. You all think that's a good strategy for the stores to have as well? And I've even asked this question before, are we being tricked? Remember those who follow the channel, remember I did the video and I was like, food shortages, are we being tricked? I said something to that effect because one day it was like they didn't hardly have any food. But then around the holidays, I think it was either Thanksgiving or Christmas is around the time I did the video. I noticed, excuse me, I noticed that all of a sudden it was like the next week, it's like they had so much food. You all remember when I did that video, those who follow me? Right, right. Yep. The table normally is full, and then it's like half the table was just bare. Normally they have fruits spread out all, organic and non-organic. And that's another thing, y'all. I'm starting to see less and less organic options because that's what we buy. I'm starting to see less and less organic options available. And I don't know if, again, they could be trying to stretch it out. Some days we have organic, some days we don't. I don't know. But the last time that I went to the store, which was 2 days ago at the farmer's market, they did not have any organic lemons at all. Someone said the stores aren't getting as many deliveries as they used to. Right, right. And even when they do get the delivery, if they're short staffed, they don't have the staff available to even unload um, the items and restock them. Okay. Someone said, yes, yes, I know you remember. Yes. So, it just really, that's what's going on. Okay. All right. The article also says pre-pandemic, this is a quote by Limpert, and this is the last sentence in the article. It says, pre-pandemic, you might have seen five different varieties of milk across the front row and 10 cartons deep. Okay. Now it will be five across and maybe 2 rows deep. So they're putting out less, just to stretch it out and not have bare shelves. Now in some areas, hold on just a minute, y'all. Okay, excuse me. In some areas, um, I don't know if I did a video on this or maybe I posted it on the Instagram, my Instagram page. Y'all, if you have Instagram, make sure you follow me on Instagram at Andrea Speaks TV. I'll put it on the screen so you can see it. I'm going to be posting more on Instagram. So if you are watching and you are on Instagram, make sure you follow me on Instagram at Andrea Speaks TV. Again, follow me on Instagram at Andrea Speaks TV. I think I posted either I can't remember, y'all. I apologize, but in one, it was either in a state or a country, but somewhere they were actually putting like cardboard pictures on shelves of like fruits and vegetables, even though it wasn't really fruits and vegetables. They were putting like cardboard pictures there just so they wouldn't have to show the empty shelves. Do you all remember that? I think I shared that on social media, but then I could be wrong. But I did read the article. I'll try to find it. But they were actually putting. It may have been in another country. I can't remember, or maybe it was here in the United States. But they were actually in the places where shelves were bare. They were actually putting cardboard pictures of fruits and vegetables in place of the real thing. Doesn't that sound weird, y'all? I'll try to find that article and pin it under this video. I'll pin it tomorrow because it is kind of late and I'm going to be ending up soon. But um, those are the reasons why they're saying that these shelves are empty. Now, again, y'all, if you haven't looked around and said, wait a minute, it's too many things that are going on that are not normal, that are not usual, too many things that are just happening that makes you question. If you are not questioning these things, if you are not aware of what's going on, you may want to start doing more research. Again, by no means am I trying to scare anyone. I do want you to be aware. Um, right. I Instagram is new to me. So I'm learning at the same time. Yes. But if you are on Instagram, please be sure to follow me at Andrea Speaks TV. Okay, I'm gonna be doing some more posting there as well. So be sure that you follow me on the page as well. Yes, it's very strange. And so again, if you are not asking questions, if you're not looking around saying, "Wait a minute," and even think about this, y'all. Think about right now. Right now, if we were to have another shutdown, or let's say severe weather just out of the blue happen in your area, do you have enough food? Do you have enough emergency food supply? Whether it's canned food, canning your own food. Do you have enough survival needs to help you through the times? And if not, I encourage you to start getting the things that you need. Even if you can't buy a whole lot at one time, buy a little along the way. I'm going to do another video where I talk about items that I suggest that you have in your family emergency winter storm kit, or just, it doesn't have to be a winter storm. It could be any type of emergency kit, some items, things that we have, things that I, can suggest that you have. But by all means, please make sure we're living in a day and time now where so much is happening. You cannot afford to not know what's going on. Just look around, whether you look at the news, go to your local grocery store, look around and see what's actually going on. This is not normal, y'all. This is not normal. Um, I really don't know what other way to put it. It's just not normal. Things are changing right before our eyes. And I've talked about this before on the channel, how there's so many things going on to distract us. Social media itself can be a distraction. And so, if you find that, of course, I can't tell you what to do, but if you find that you're spending too much time on social media, not being productive, you may want to make some changes because, again, and I'm not the only person saying this, but, it seems like the whole world is changing, and so many things are going on that if you don't see what's going on and realize what's going on and take action quick, like now, um, if you have not already been doing so, you know, like I said, you could end up being in trouble. And what I mean by being in trouble is, God forbid if something were to happen to where people are locked down again, you have to stay in your home, whether it's because of natural disaster, a winter storm, or something like that. You want to make sure that you are prepared, and that you have what you need. Trust me, uh, you don't want to have to rely on someone else to take care of you, to supply you with food, or say, you know what, I'm not gonna why I don't have to do anything. I know the government is gonna come through and help. Well, let me remind you, in certain cases that is true. The government will offer assistance, but think about several years ago. Was it 2007? I hope I don't have the date wrong. Um, 2005, 2007, somewhere around that time. Maybe 2005. Let me see. First, hold on. Let me look up this date because I don't want to say the wrong thing. Let me see what you all remember. Hurricane Katrina. Y'all remember Hurricane Katrina that came through and devastated um, the Gulf Coast, Louisiana, New Orleans. Y'all remember Hurricane Katrina? Let me see what year was that. Was that 2005, y'all? Okay, 2005. Okay, so Hurricane Katrina. Let's see. It said it lasted. That time frame was August 23rd, 2005 to somewhere around August 31st, 2005. Now, if you're not familiar with that weather event, it was very devastating. Um, at the time, if I remember correctly, it was the most powerful storm to hit that area in so many years, maybe out of all the years. But look at what happened as people, who, due to the situation, the devastating situation that just happened, they couldn't help themselves. Look at what happened when they were relying on the government to come in and rescue them and take care of them. I encourage you to do your research on that. So, please, by all means, don't sit here and say, you know what, I don't have to worry about anything because the government is going to help. We can't, we're living in a day and time where we cannot even rely on that. Yes, that may be true under certain circumstances, but if I were you, again, I can't tell you what to do, but if I were you, I would not rely on, I would not rely on anyone. It's almost like you got to be in the mindset of, you can't rely on anyone outside of your household to take care of you. You have to take care of you and your family. Based on my research and just looking around and really observing what's going on, that's kind of almost the mindset that we have to have. Do you all agree or disagree? We can't rely on the government. They may or may not come, and then who knows? It may take them weeks to finally come. I encourage you to research, look at what happened with Hurricane Katrina as people waited to receive help. Um, but that's just the times that we are living in. Okay. Anyone have any final thoughts or comments? Anyone have any final thoughts or comments on anything that we shared? I appreciate you all staying up, those who are watching now live. What time is it in your area? I share with you all, I'm on the East Coast, and right now it is 1:30. So, um, anyone have any final thoughts, comments? Someone shared in chat, if there's another shutdown, a lot of people are going to go book wild, except those who have prepared. Now, speaking of going book wild, there is a lot that's happening, y'all. So, along with the food shortages, water shortages, I'm still doing research on this particular topic, but I'm seeing where, um, people are breaking into the trains, and they're stealing the packages that are on the train. So, along with food shortage, you got to think about it, y'all. Food, we're talking about basic survival, okay? Basic survival. So, when we have food shortages, water shortages, if people feel like, hey, for whatever reason, our basic needs are not being met, um, our physiological needs, in other words, if they feel like they're not being met, then, people are gonna, what, for lack of better expression, they're gonna get it by any means necessary. And so I've been, doing some research. I came across some stories, I believe, out of Los Angeles. I know we have some viewers who are in the California area. Correct me if I'm wrong, but in California, people are breaking into the train, stealing packages. And so, for whatever reason, they're choosing to do that. And it could be that they're trying to, make a way to survive. I don't know. Um, okay, yes, yes. So I'm going to be reporting on that as well. Um, I do believe maybe it's happening in other parts of the country now. I don't know if people saw what was happening in Los Angeles and they said, "Hey, let's bring it to another city." But people are, people are turning to that, and so so much is going on. Um, and I said all that to say that when you have situations of food shortages, water shortages, people are trying to survive. People have been laid off. A lot of times with that comes chaos. um some people say all hell break loose. And so in other ways, and you all know what I'm talking about as well, those of us who are old enough and of age and are licensed, we got to be able to protect ourselves and our families. So I'll be updating you all. I think y'all, you know what, it's so much that's going on. I just need to do some combined episodes where we're talking about several different topics, because if I just did one topic each episode, it's like I would be coming live like pretty much all day, and I'm not able to do that. But I need to do a combined episode where I talk about several different topics. Okay. Any final thoughts? You all have any final thoughts? Those of y'all who are watching live now? If you would like to support the channel, let me share this. If you would like to support the channel, I do have Andrea Speaks TV merchandise available. I have t-shirts, hoodies, different items. There will be a link in the description. I'll go back and post it later where you can support the channel, or you can look at any of my other videos here on the channel. I do have the link in the description. I was trying to go ahead and get the video started. I forgot to include the link, but you can check that out. Also, if you need emergency food supply and survival needs, check out my website, preparewithandrea.com. Get the things that you need from there as well. And of course, I told you all about Instagram. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at Andrea Speaks TV. Any final thoughts or comments? Any final thoughts or comments? I appreciate your support. Someone shared a great show. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, these are topics that I feel like are definitely important. And I say, you know what? Again, there's so much going on in the world. Let me come and give you all updates. I have several videos where I talked about shortages on the channel. I need to create a playlist where you all can just, once you watch one video, it'll just play the next one and the next one. But again, y'all, I've been talking about shortages for a while now. So, you know, if you are like me, you're concerned about the times that we're living in, you're looking for factual news and information, real solutions, make sure you subscribe to the channel so that we can stay connected when I upload new content each week, and so that you can be informed. Okay. All right. Let me see what else was on this slide. We talked about what's going on in Texas. Again, y'all, one of the there again, I don't now let me say this, y'all. When we get our different emergency supplies, survival needs, we don't just use one particular place. But one thing that my family and I we did invest in, and I want to share with you, is an emergency food supply. You can get this from preparewithandrea.com. And we have the 4-week emergency food supply. If you go to my website, preparewithandrea.com, you can actually purchase. Let me see, I have it right here by my chair. You can actually purchase the emergency food supply kit. No, the snow has actually moved out. You can actually see snow in some areas. It hasn't melted yet. The sun didn't really shine today, but it has stopped snowing. So we don't have any snow in our area as of right now. Not in my particular area. Okay. All right. So again, you can get the emergency food supply. You'll get 2 buckets. What we have is the same that you see on the screen. This is a 4-week emergency food supply. Right now, you can save $30. You see the cost on the screen, and it has over 2,000 calories a day, 16 varieties. You get different food, breakfast, lunches, dinners, drinks, snacks. It has a 25-year shelf life. Now, again, y'all, this is not something that you just want to whip out and cook for Sunday dinner. Okay, this is not that. This is for emergency purposes only. So you get 2 buckets. I picked up one. I don't think I'm going to pick up the other one, y'all. It's kind of heavy. And you get free shipping and handling. So it does ship to you quite fairly quickly. And so this is something that I would encourage. Now, is this the only solution, or is this the only item, emergency food item that my family and I have? No. I told you, here at our home, we have a home garden. We have canned goods. I even told y'all I'm going to start canning items. I haven't started yet, but you know what? With everything coming with the winter storm, I said, you know what? I need to stop playing. I need to go ahead and start canning food. So I got to get my recipes together. I got to get all that together and laid out before I get started. One thing I want you all to think about, y'all, emergencies happen. Sometimes they come out of the blue. Sometimes we're warned ahead of time. Sometimes we are warned ahead of time. Sometimes things just happen without a warning. But what I want you to, or what I want to leave you with, the question I want to leave you with is, are you ready? Right now, today, if something were to happen, God forbid, if there's a natural disaster hit your area, or winter storm, or for whatever reason, the power is out, you are, you can't leave your home for whatever reason, do you have what you need at home to survive and sustain the times that we're living in? So, like I shared in my last video when I was live outside in the snow. And y'all, let me tell you something. One of the subscribers pointed out, they were like, you couldn't turn off your video. What happened in the video, I think it's titled "It's Snowing, Winter Storm." What happened was, as the snow was falling, it was melting on my screen, and so my screen ended up being wet. And when I went to end the live to press the end button, I couldn't get it to like work. So if you wanted, okay, Andrew, like a whole 15 seconds went by where you were just looking at the phone and you couldn't turn it off. That's what I was trying to do. My phone screen had got wet because of the melting snow, and it was affecting the touch screen ability on my phone. Okay. But as I was saying, y'all, when one of the first things we think about with cold weather, we think about power outages. You got to have heating sources. And so I'm like I said, I'm going to do a video where I recommend some winter storm emergency items, a checklist, so to speak, things that you want to keep in mind. Um, Such as, some people have candles, but a lot of times, just based on my research, what I want to say, like, they say not to use candles because, of course, if candles are left unattended, a fire could start, and you definitely don't want that. But you also want to have not only heating sources, but lighting sources. So this just happened to be on the table beside me. This is a lantern. This is by the Energizer brand. I think we picked it up maybe like at Walmart, and it has different settings. I forgot how many lumens it is, but it can shine very bright. So you definitely always want to keep a lantern or a flashlight. I'll turn this one on so you can see it. See how that's pretty bright? You can make it a little bit dimmer and then low light. And then one thing I also like about this lantern is in the event, let's say power is out, it does have a USB port. You all see this? See the USB port? It has a USB port just in case you need to charge your cell phone. Okay, so I do like something like this. Okay, so that's actually one of the reasons why I chose this lantern, because not only did it have different settings, I ain't trying to blind you now. See how you can change the setting. Actually, let me turn the light off real quick just so y'all can see it. Okay, someone said a checklist would be good to go over. Yeah, I definitely do that. Let me hold on, y'all. Okay, I'll turn the light off. I know you probably can't really see me. Okay, so see how right now it's dark. Okay, so you can turn the light on. See how it's pretty, pretty bright. This is a lantern. You can adjust the setting. That's a little bit softer light, dimmer. And then also, if I wanted to, I could charge the cell phone there. Okay. And that is the main reason why I bought this lamp, because I did like having the ability to charge electronic devices there. Okay. And again, it's the Energizer brand. There are different lanterns that you can get. Hold on, y'all. There are different lanterns that you can get. This is an Energizer lantern, but there are others out there. Maybe even some that are better. Okay. Any other last thoughts, comments, concerns? Mm-hmm. So, you want to think about when y'all, I'm going to put this in a video, so we'll talk about it, but I'll go over the more detail in the video. But since we are talking about it, these are things that you want to think about when you're buying emergency supplies. You want to think of products that are multifunctional. So this is a lantern with 3 different settings, but then look, also you can charge your electronic device, cell phone, something like that. Okay. All right. So again, y'all, I'm not just talking about it. These are things that I'm putting into practice. And if it's something good I feel like can benefit you, then I definitely want to share it with you. Okay. I see that there are a couple of you all who are watching now live. Anyone have any questions, comments? Again, y'all, I want to ask you the question. I want to make the statement that emergencies happen, but are you ready? So you don't have, of course, you don't have to tell me, but I encourage you, if these are things that you haven't thought about yet, sit down and talk with your family. Make a family plan. Take an inventory of items that you need. I'll be putting together the video and going over the information with you so that you can make a plan for you and your family. Okay. Yes, yes, I definitely got to get some rest. I have a busy, busy day tomorrow. I just want to say thank you all so much for your support. Right now, there are 5 of you watching. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Please share this video with someone that you love, you care about, and also like this video. If you feel like, you know what, Andrea, you really put me up on game, you gave me some things to think about, make sure you hit the like button so that more people can see the video, and it will help them as well. Okay. All right, y'all. Well, I'm gonna say good night. It is 1:45 a.m. here on the East Coast, and it's way past my bedtime. I have to wake up early. But again, I want to say thank you all so much for supporting the channel. You know, I started this channel. Next month will be 1 year. I had never been on YouTube before. I had never uploaded a YouTube video. And as I share with you all, um, I was sharing with my husband, just, talking about some things that were going on. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate your support. I was sharing with my husband, hey, all of these things are going on. The world is changing. I pretty much studied for an entire year when the pandemic first happened. I sat back and I said, wait a minute, like the whole world is changing. Like, what's going on? I had never seen anything like this before ever in life. And so, just that fact, it really caused me to want to um, pay attention, to what was going on. And so, he said, you know what, you should share this. Once you go on YouTube and share this, make a channel and talk about it. And so that's what I did. And so I give him, credit for inspiring me, motivating me to create my YouTube channel. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, next month will be 1 year since I have been on YouTube. And so I'm very excited about that. If you would have asked me, 2 years ago, would I ever see myself being on YouTube? I would tell you no, but you know, um, I feel like this is one of my purposes, is to go, just share information so that people can help, make a plan to help yourself, your family, sustain through the times that we're living in. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, 1 year on YouTube. It has really been. I have learned a lot. I'm getting better, and I just, I appreciate your support. So thank you all so much. Again, follow me on Instagram. I am going to be uploading information. I'm going to try to let you all know more about when I'll be going live. And I'll be doing that through my Instagram page. So if you are on Instagram, make sure you follow me at Andrea Speaks TV. Again, I'm on Instagram at Andrea Speaks TV. So thank you all so much. I'm going to get ready to go to bed because I have to wake up early in the morning. So again, thank you all so much for your support. God bless you. God bless you and your family. And I will see you on the next episode of Andrea Speaks TV. Thank you all so much. Have a good night and God bless. Thank you for watching.